Okay, thank you and welcome everyone for joining us today. My name is Julian Aya. I'm together with Omar and Robert. We say,
Well, thank you again for another week of uh, session, and thank you for joining us again. Uh, Thank you also to our guest. I'll give him the opportunity to talk now.
Yes, thank you for the invitation, first of all. So for me, it's a big pleasure to be here with both of you guys and the people who is connected watching this session. My name is Robert Vazquez. I'm from Puerto Rico. So that was the one of the question, but
Good.
it's my introduction. So uh, thank you very much for this invitation.
okay, remember for the platform use, if you have any audio issue or video issue, just only refresh the website and you can get in again. And also pointing out the importance that is for us creating content in English for the people who is English speaking and also for the Spanish speaking people that want to improve their language. So we will start here. Okay, the session or today's session is about scouting. Important to be said that it will be scouting at all levels of competition. So no matter which level you referee, from the grassroots to the top of your country or internationally, this will help you to prepare before the game. The first question we always do to our live attendees is the following one. How are you related to basketball? Just to know approximately the percentage of referee, coach, players, and others that we have on the room. You can vote now. So we can know to whom are we speaking. We always have more than 90% of referees, but we want week by week trying to increase the amount of coaches and players that can join us to interact and share anything they can on the chat or on the post. Okay, I think together we are more split, less referees and more on the other side and coaches. So it's good to have week by week more of you. Second, we will introduce our topic. Today's topic will be scouting. We will divide in two parts. First, we will make an introduction of our guest for sure. Then, scouting about what it is, how it helps us, and the tools for scouting. And at the end, what elements are we scouting and how can we put those elements into our work on the court. Okay, let's move on to our second question. I think some of you have the answer already, but we're still asking it. Which is the country of birth of our guest, Roberto Vazquez? We have some FIBA people here, so you may know. If not, you can answer there. What do you think? Or let's see, let's give some minutes.
I already did. I already gave the answer, but
That's how
I
it works.
forgot.
Sometimes you have the answer and people don't trust
But
you.
if the people were less listening uh, or paying attention, they maybe got the answer already.
Okay, now we got that 76% of the people were listening and identified that our guest is from Puerto Rico. So now making a quick introduction, let's move this here. Our guest or today's guest is Mr. Roberto Vazquez. He is a FIBA elite referee and FIBA instructor from Puerto Rico, basketball referee since 1993. and Puerto Rico BSN or Professional League referee from 1999. Also, FIBA referee since 2002, and he's still active. He certified as a FIBA instructor in 2019, and he has participated in two World Cups, Spain and China, and one Olympic Games, and is nominated for the next year's Tokyo Olympics. So, welcome, Robert. If you want to share something else with the people before moving on.
Well, again, thank you very much for the invitation, both. Yes, if you see the I have more than 20 years in refereeing, officiating games, it's my life. The people the people who is a referee uh, has to take this part of our life, create the passions. Every time we have to improve our knowledge. So uh, I have the great opportunity here to share my experience with all of you guys.
Okay. Now we move to our third question, which we always have this question on the sessions because on the first session we talk about these five elements of the referee preparation, and now we will be asking everybody which is the element inside the referee's preparation that is more related to the concept of scouting that we will be introducing today. So you will have the poll, and you can answer if you think that scouting is related to ethic formation, physical capacity, technical preparation, philosophical activation, or psychological management. If you have not seen yet the first session, you can email or write us through the social media. We can share the link of that broadcast. So, Roberto, what do you think? What is your answer for this question?
For me, I'm going with letter C, technical preparation. When we are talking about scouting, we have to involve our preparation, uh, the psychological and the philosophy inside our preparation. Uh, my point of view and my experience is work with the crew, making a great preparation pre-game in the pre-game meeting, because we have to prepare our psychology psychological mental skills. We have to prepare our philosophical activation. And when we talk about both of the two the points D and E, is really important, and involve everybody in the crew in those 3 points. That's why my technical preparation is, for me, is the big element of the scouting.
Omar?
I think it is technical preparation for me because this is how we can prepare day by day on recognizing the facts that we have on the court and how to prepare a game before the to speaking with my teammates. And basically I think it's technical preparation. Of course we have some philosophical activation, but I think the main one is the technical preparation on my thinking.
Okay.
So uh I know that today the topic today is scouting, but it is important for us, first of all, to define what scouting means. What is scouting? And before that, we have a question for you guys, and this question is more related to define what is scouting for and what that means. and the options in the question is what is scouting in terms of officiating of the officiating crew. We got three options. The first one is analysis of the teams to identify which one will win. Second, analysis of the teams before the game to identify their defensive and offensive actions to anticipate possible scenarios during the game. And third, analysis of the teams after the game to compare the stats. You'll have all of them in the chat, so you can answer one. And for now, we got, I don't know how many answers, but all of them in the second. Analysis of the team before the game to identify their defensive and offensive actions to anticipate possible scenarios in the game. So it is important that
Omar,
so tell me.
can I interrupt for a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
bit?
yeah.
If I say somebody, if I say something, do somebody can turn on the microphone and debate with me?
They can
If
click.
somebody liked it. All right. If I choose the last one, then the letter C, if somebody is with me, or somebody can say you are wrong, or somebody want to say no, Robert, you are wrong.
Yes, if you want to participate, any of you, you can click on the button request to speak, and we can. So when we have somebody, let's get in. Nobody for now. Sometimes they're very shy. They don't want to come on the camera, but
Don't be shy. Don't be shy. If you are in a game, you cannot be shy.
request.
Do we have any?
No.
No, I think not.
But it could be also the option C. But I'll wait until somebody says something.
No, I think nobody wants to say something. No.
Forfeit. What is show
Forfeit. Forfeit. I'm going to letter B.
Okay. Okay, so let's go moving forward to the next one.
I think we are having someone. Let's see if
okay, great.
So we have in the three options the choice before the game or after the game, and before the game if we identify which will win, or the option B. But
Nope.
they don't show up, so we move on.
Okay. So what is scouting in terms of officiating? So basically, scouting is a method used by the referees to we have a guest?
Things.
We have a guest, right?
Yes. Just we'll spray here. If you want to open your camera and mic, you can speak. We have Imene, Dahmi, and Jonas. And the shoulder, your camera is besides the mic button.
Why? No. Yes.
There you are.
Okay. Very well. Hello.
How are
Did you
you?
listen to me?
Yes.
Hi, how are you?
Hello.
Yeah, literally.
Yes, yes. Really happy to join this session, and it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you
Thank,
too.
thank you for
Related,
being here.
Nice to meet you too.
Yes, thank you.
related
Yes,
to the question, Robert invite you to debate with him. Which option do you think is the answer for the scouting?
uh, yes. For the scout, I think it's the second answer,
Second. Why?
number B. Yes,
Why number B? Why letter B?
yes, because scouting help us to it helps us to have more information about the game and about who you are officiating about. This is it. The aim is to have more information about both teams when you are on the court, and you can manage situation if you have more information, and you can manage the game.
We have also Jaunis. Can you share with us your question?
Hello. Can I also say something too?
Yes,
Yes,
sure.
Hello.
for
Yeah,
sure.
because as I said, part B is the more important. Why? As a referee, you have to prepare yourself to know what kind of a team that you are facing. What are the way they play, their defense, their offense. If you are not prepared and you're entering a court, uh, you won't be able to really do a good officiating for that. But if you look at that earlier, you make sure how you know their tactics and techniques, what the games, the way they play, and everything, and you predict all of that earlier. You go over there, you are completely prepared. You're mentally prepared, you're physically prepared, technically prepared to try to do your best to control the game. And that's my opinion. C is also the small part of it, is enter that area, but not as much as B. Thank you.
Robert, now do you agree?
No, thank you. That's what I
Well, I
want. That's what I
appreciate all
want.
of you.
Everybody,
Yani.
everybody. I want everybody involved in here. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Keep in touch,
Thank
and
you. Thank you for you.
you can join again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, good. Now, yeah.
So moving forward to how to define what is scouting. As I said, scouting is a method used by referees to study the teams prior to a game or competition in order to know how they perform in different scenarios, such as defensive, offensive, or behavior, how they behave. The objective is to collect basic information about the teams of play, about the style of play of each team to anticipate possible scenarios. Also, to study the personalities of the athletes and coaches to be prepared for possible personal reaction. It is the most important right here is to collect basic information. We need to keep it simple. Don't try to, to have an explanation detail by detail. It's kind of basic information that helps us in the future. And how does the scouting help us? Basically, we can anticipate different game situations, locating on better spots on the court based on the knowledge that we have or the game tendency of every team, increasing the percentage of correct decisions because we are prepared for the future situations that we can have, and facilitating the communication with players and coaches. And we have a point of emphasis in this last point, just because if we increase our a game IQ or capacity to analyze the game properly, so we can talk the same language with the coaches. Uh, I want to ask you, Roberto, to help me a little bit more in how does the scouting help us in a game or for preparing a tournament or a game in a specific?
No, you're right in all 4 points. When you do a great scouting, the game's much better. The game's much easy for you. It's gonna be more easy for you from the beginning. So because you're gonna anticipate when you watch videos, you are prepared on what will could happen on a game. It's not gonna happen exactly on the same way, but you are prepared for different situations that you're gonna watch or you're gonna see in your game. So you're gonna be prepared, and you have to the situation in your mind because you watch it before in a clip. So you mentioned one more point. You are preparing. How do you can communicate with A and or coach B, because both coaches, they are not going to act at the same way. We can have coach A like a polite coaching with his person or his personality, and we can have in the coach B a really strong coach, really the coach that we can call really high emotions. So you have you can prepare much better on the scouting when you watch every point inside of the clip.
Yes. So basically, this is the points that we can improve, and this is how we can help the or officiating based on the scouting that we did before. But basically, the key point right here is to keep it simple. Keep it simple, and we'll have a lot of positive facts in our game. So moving forward to the next page.
Okay, we have now the fifth question. What tool do you frequently use to scout a team? For sure, use to scout, or if you have scout before, what tool do you frequently use? Please do not select what do you think is the best. Select the tool you have used to make scouting. So you have videotape, you have stats, and you have reference from other referees. You can start voting. Videotape, when we talk about stats, is stats of previous game that you can have on online or any site, or paper, or a picture of the stats, anything you can have related to that game in terms of stats. So we have like 50-50 between videotape and references from other referees. Now, when we talk about scouting at all levels of competition, we can point out that the best tool to scout a team is through the videotape. If you watch situations on video, then you can visualize them after in your game. It's a tool that most of us use, and if there is a video for the game, that's the tool we need to use because it's a more complete that we have. But we understand that at some levels, there are not video of the game. Or if there is video, maybe after the game, it's not easy to get that video, or it's not online. So the question is, how can we scout a game a team in which we don't have any video of their games before? We can use, as we say, the stats, in which if a big amount of game has video, then a bigger amount of game have stats online, which is like easy to manage. And for example, in these stats, what can we see? We can see 3-point shots, 40 3-point shots on the game, and 45 2-point shots of the game. So the team shot 85 times, and it's almost 50-50 from 2 points and 3 points. So I know that this team is a 3-point shooter, and I need to be prepared for that. We have also offensive rebounds. We have 20 offensive rebounds. Then this team is going to the rebound on the offensive way. So if I am the trail referee or the center referee, I cannot leave early the position because that team is going to the rebound after they shot. Also, we have assists versus turnovers, and also a point is when we have a lot of fouls in a short period of time. If we have this was an important game, so we don't have like that issue. But if we have a player with 4 fouls and play 5 minutes, then we can think, hey, this player when he comes in is to make fouls or something like that. So we need to be prepared in this case. And if there is a way in which we don't have or the video or the stats, then we can use the reference from other referees. And when we have local leagues, we can talk to our colleagues about the teams and players. And when we talk about references, it's not about, no, this player cries a lot, this player complains, the other. No, he's trying to get key points of the style of play of the team, if they press, if they are shooting, if they are going to the basket, just to that referee that will referee them tomorrow can have more tools to make their scouting. So, having said that, Roberto, which tool do you use in most of the cases to scout the teams?
Well, for my point, or well, what I use as the most is the videotape, is the clips, because I have on my disposal every tournament in our level. But all depend on the level of the referee, or on the level of the tournament, because sometimes you are in a tournament that you don't have any video cam, you don't have the facility of statistics, or you have your partner in the other corner watching the same game of you, so you have to analyze and scout the game of the team that you're going to work tomorrow. So you you have to take the tool that you have at the disposal in that moment.
We had in the past in FIBA, when you go to the championship, before having the live basketball tool, what do you used to do before that first day of the competition when you didn't
What
have
what
like video?
watching the games. I went to the court and trying to watch 2 or 3 games, and watching the teams. So because maybe I'm not going to work one of those teams at in the same day, but I can work tomorrow or after tomorrow or the next day. I don't know. So, but my tools on that moment in 2003 or 2004 was watching games on live in the court.
Omar, what can you talk us about how to watch that game? You went to the court, now you're watching. What are you looking for? What are you doing there?
Well, I agree on the Roberto point that must to watch the games before or game. And the points that we are watching for is we have a couple of points after this, but basically is how they play and how what's the game tendency in the offensive situations, what's the type of defense that they play, and if we have any type of special situations on the games before, so we can prevent or anticipate for those situations in our further games.
Okay.
So based on this, we want to have some participation from Roberto on this point because some people don't believe that the scouting is really useful for our refereeing. So based on your experience, how important is to have an appropriate scouting before a game, and how this can be improved on the preparation and execution of the officiating team.
Well, it's really important. I mentioned 10 minutes ago because the scouting is your preparation, is is your tools that you're gonna talk on your pre-game meeting. You it's not the pre-game meeting is not only on mechanics, it's not only on rule situation, it's not only on the attitude that we have to have in the game. Our our pre-game preparation is how the teams they're gonna work, how the discipline of the players, how is the behavior of the coaches. So it's really important. If you are not really prepared with the good scouting, you're gonna find a lot situations that you're gonna be surprised for them. So for me, it's really important the element of the scouting.
Well, so let's think that we are at the point that we are in the game preparation, we are in the scouting, we need to make a scouting, and based on that, what information do you consider to be the most important when preparing a scouting report prior to the game? We have a couple of points that we can review. We have four options: defensive principles of the teams, how they play the defense; offensive principles of the team, how they play, what's the tendency in the offensive. If they shot a lot of from the 3 point, they like to play in the post play. Key players and leaders, with the key player in the of uh, leadering the team, or the key players about elbows or different things, and coaches and team benches. Sometimes we have some coaches and emotional reactions that we have on the bench or from the coaches. So basically, are those 4 points. You have these options on the poll, so you can tell us what is the most important for you, or one of these four. What is the more demanding at the time of making us scouting? It doesn't matter if I chose key players. I don't need to pay attention on offensive principles or defensive principles. It's just one option. And most of the people say key players. What do you think? What do you think, Julio, Roberto?
Well, from my point of view, the 4 points are very important. I have in my insight, my experience, I have no most important point on the 4 points that we are seeing. First, because it is the four different part of on the game: defensive principles, offensive principles, key players, coaches and bench is a different part inside of the game. Because if we choose one of the most important, so we are taking out
Yeah.
big importance for the other three. So you cannot concentrate only in one, paying attention only in one. For example, to know how the one team is gonna be like offensive in the offensive principles, you have to know how the defender player are going to play. That's game. That's a basketball game, basketball sense. If I gonna make 5 out, I have to discover what is the defensive move. I cannot put 5 out with 1-3-1 zone, or we cannot put 4-1 in matchup zone? This is my question. We can do that or not? Well, I don't know, but we have to put attention in all the 4 points.
Yes, I also agree. The 4 points are important. Sometimes we begin with the offensive, as Robert said. Then, as the offensive plays, then the defensive will match that offense. And after the decisions we make, then we need to know which players are like the more difficult behavior and coaches and teams. So if I have to choose one, I will begin with the offense, but for sure the four needs to be analyzed during the scouting.
Well, we'll talk about a couple of defensive principles that we can see every time that we make a scouting of our team. It is important that we know that we don't need to be an expert. We don't need to be like the coaches are. They are experts on defensive and offensive principles. Basically, we are trying to extract some basic information of how they play defense. And basically, at the time we are watching a game, we can see different type of defense that we can put into the report. And those report are defense, zone defense, press defense, mixed defense, and combined defense. What means zone defense? Basically, zone defense is a type of defense that is static on the paint, statics inside 3-point line, and we have different type of zone defense. It could be 2-1-2, 1-2-2, 3-2, and 1-3-1. So basically, you can identify that defense when you snapshot the defense on the video, like the image that we have on the presentation right now. So moving to the press defense, it could be we have two type of defense on the press defense. It could be man-to-man defense, like the image that we have. It is 1-to-1. Sometimes it could be behind the half court, the mid court line, and sometimes it will be full court press. So this full court press could be like full court zone pressing the ball or full court man to man trying to trap the ball. Uh, Next, we have the mixed defense. That it means that we have sometimes part of the defense, part of the players that are playing on the court on in the zone defense, like some defenders are in the zone and others are in man-to-man. It could be boxing one or triangle or N2. And the last one is the combined defense, and sometimes this defense trying to change. The goal is to change the game tempo. Example, the first example is after the first and the second pass, switch the defense from zone to man or vice versa. The second is man-to-man defense, and during the throw-in, switch to zone defense. Basically, the idea is to show to the offensive team a first image of how we're gonna play, and after something that is gonna happen on the game, so we change complete difference and we're trying to make some confusion with them. Uh, we have a video example right now where we can uh, see couple of situations about a full court press, and basically this type of defense is one of the game situations who is creating more conflict at the time we are on the court. And based on the example, you'll have a poll on the chat right now, and the question is, based on the examples, which referee should stay connected with the play during the full court press transition on the three-person mechanics? The three options are lead referee, central, or trade referee. So let's play it. So basically, we have some traps on the backcourt or some full court press, where the main goal is to force some bad passes and some mistakes from the offense. But the key here is to identify which of the three referees on the court involved in that game is very important to stay connected. So just be one step forward of the possible scenarios that we have. So we have 80% on central or slot and 16% on trail. So Roberto, what you can tell us or you can share to us related to the responsibility of the referees during the full court press or when we have some transitions?
How was the percentage?
We got 70 on central referee and 20 on trail, 10 on league. So basically 70
Yes,
on central.
the one who has to be engaged or connected on the. If you watch the last clip, you're gonna watch one trail with 8 players in his coverage area. It's impossible. It's impossible. That's why the central referee has to be engaged and connected, because the trail has the ball and the matchup with the ball. The central referee has all of the other players. It's impossible that you're gonna have a central referee trying to cover 2 players on the last part of the court. No, that's why we have an elite referee, and it's impossible that you have a trail referee with 8.
Something is going on.
Players when we have when we have uh,
Oh, Robert, are you there? Freeze.
hey, I'm here.
Yes,
I'm
now.
here.
Yes. Call it attack.
I'm here.
You were talking about the
I
last
can talk again.
video.
Are you listen what I said?
Yes, we listen. We listen most of the part.
All right. Well, okay. That my point. My central point is you cannot have a trail referee with 8 players trying to cover all the players. Players on the front court, only 2 players on the central referee is the one who has to be engaged and connected with the ball and the players all the time when we have a full court press.
Yes, I also agree with you and with the people in the poll. The center referee is that to accompany the play if there is a press. We sometimes when we switch, we think we need to go straight to the free throw line extended on the other side, but that's when all the players are going there. But if they stay, as Robert says, we need to be here because then it's a steal and we are in the mid court trying to referee that new offense. So let's move a bit on while Robert is reconnecting to the next point of the offensive play.
Yeah. Well, great. Yes, I'm agree with the central referee, but exactly just remember Every time we have a forward press and we have a transition, it's important that the referee stay, central referee stay connected, and we as a trail just be behind the ball, always behind the ball. Because if we have a turnover, we don't want to be on that position. We are in a disadvantage. We want to have the full angle. So moving forward to the offensive principles, uh, as I said before, we don't need to be experts. We just recognize them at the time we are on the court, because we don't want to be those referees that at the time we are asked about what type of offensive uh, plays they do, what type of defense they do. We don't know what to answer. So basically, the offensive principles are the defensive principles. Uh, this kind of situation seeks for a possibility to score easily. The key of the offensive principles is to create spaces to increase the opportunity to open shots. So the key point right here is create spaces, open spaces. This is the key point, and this is the final goal of calling an offensive play or something. It is just creating a space, because at more spaces we have on the court, more possibilities to make a shot or make more baskets we have. So basically, we are talking about three. Those three are 5 out, 4 out, 1 in, and 3 out, 1 in. So we have a video example of all of them. 5 out, it is 5 players on the perimeter, seek to free a skilled player or any offensive 3-point shooter. So always this type of offensive principles are more common on these times. It is like the game is improving, the game changing, and it is changing that everyone on the court shot from the 3-point line. Everyone on the court is making screens. So let's see the video. As you can see on the video, we have the all 5 players in a setup position over the 3-point line, and then they start to rotating, making screens on and off the ball. But the goal, as always, is to have a easier penetration to the basket and easier open shots. Basically, the goal is to create spaces based on the confusion of the defensive players. Go to the next one. 4 out, 1 in. It is 4 players on the perimeter and 1 player on the paint. It could be on the high or in the low post. It can be lead to screens and on the ball and off the ball. So let's see the video example. And basically, it's the same tendency to have all the 4 players on the perimeter, and having 1 player on the low post moving up and down, trying to find a screen to make an open player to make a player open for a free shot. All of them are the same, and basically the goal right here is to identify them at the time we are watching a game. I think before in the session 3, if I'm not wrong, we talk about at the time we are watching a game, watch it with a purpose, and this purpose is to learning every time, because every time we have a lot of new situations, every time we have a new place, and the idea is to recognize them. Basically, is the basic information or the basic tendency of the teams. The last one is the 3 out and 2 in, and basically it's 3 players on the perimeter and 2 players on the paint. The players on the paint can be alternate between high and the low post, or simultaneously we can have screens on and off the ball. So let's see the video. And as you can see, we have 3 players on the perimeter rotating between them, and the idea is to isolate a player for a 3-point or for a layout or for the fadeaway. Sometimes we can have at the same time screens and on and off the ball, like this one. You see screens in the ballways, and the idea is to take all this information and take advantage for a refereeing. Because, okay, it is important. Okay, we know how they play. We know the 5 out. We know the 4 out, 1 in. We know the full court press. But the idea is to know what to do with this information, how this information can impact our refereeing. And every time we have, at a time we have more screens on the court, at a time we have more rotation, increase or primary coverage responsibility. Let's move on for the next one.
Okay. Robert, are you there? Can you speak just to check? Can you speak to check?
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay.
Yes, I'm here. I think my connection. Are you listening to me?
Yes, I'm listening.
Yeah, I think my connection has a little bit COVID. So
Okay. Omar spoke about the offensive and defensive principle, in which we have some key points of the offensive systems that seek to maximize the individual skills of the players bringing to the game. So he talked about not being an expert on offensive principles, but identified what can those principles bring to the game and how can I be prepared to those key points. We have more 3-point shots, more direct and indirect screens, higher level of physical contact during penetrations, and a lot of skip passes. The players are almost all behind the 3-point line. So the question to Roberto now is, how can you prepare, but talking about refereeing, to each of these points? First one, in the case of 3-point shots, how can you prepare for a game with a lot of 3-point shots?
First, we have to identify who are the shooters on the team. Who are those shooters, and how they are preparing to be on the 3-point line to shoot the ball. So they are coming from the screen, from high screen, from low screen. They are doing some backdoor. We have to identify those points and where they are spotting to catch the ball, catch and shoot the ball. So it's really important where they are spot, where they are taking their spot to make a shot.
Yes.
For example, one player like to shoot from the very corner of the court, in the corner. All other player like to shoot from the wing. So we have to prepare where we are going to make our spot to watch the foot of the player, the line, and the shoot. The IoT, foot, body, hands, and then land spot. So we have to prepare. We have to watch on the clip and identify those key points.
Now moving to
the other one,
indirect screens. How can you prepare for that type of game?
Direct and indirect screens. Well, we have to identify who are the screeners, how they spot in their spot. Like we can say that how they stand, how they prepare to make a screen. They are coming fast, or they are trying to move a little bit. Then they turn around and make the screen. How they use the elbows. So we have to identify where I'm going to stay or where I'm going to spot myself to watch between the players on the screen. I'm not going to watch the back of the player who is screening. I'm going to watch the between the screener and the defensive player.
Now moving to the skip passes, we have we watch 5 out, 4 out, 1 in, how they are spread all over the court. We have passes from one side to the other side of the court. Talking about the lead referee and the center referee, how can you work on those skip passes?
Yes, I'm going to start with the lead referee, because the lead referee is the one who dictates the rotation. If I am in the side of the ball, on the strong side, and I identify the ball with the player with the ball is going to make penetration, and I identify he's going to make a skip pass, I'm going to stay on the close down, because I'm going to start my rotation, because I know the ball is going to the other side with the skip pass. But I don't know if that player who's going to receive the ball is going to shoot the ball or pass again. So I'm going to move for my close down, and if the player shoot when he catch the ball, he shoot, I'm going to make one step back. If the player with the ball make a pass, another pass, maybe I can start my rotation for the other side. I move now with the central referee. If I am in central referee, and in the other side there is a player with the ball trying to penetrate, and I identify I have 2 players spotting to receive the ball and shoot, I'm going to try to be in the middle of both players, not in the back of one player. Because if that player receive the ball, I don't know if he is in the line, or I cannot watch any contact in the stomach or in the hands, because I only watch I have only the back of the player, so I have to be in the middle of both players, try to be ready if one of them receive the ball for catch and shoot.
Okay, thank you for those comments. We know that this is not easy to do when we try to anticipate. Remember that if you anticipate something and it doesn't happen, that doesn't mean that you are wrong. That means that you didn't expect what happens after. So that's of experience, refereeing game by game and still watching games too, trying to improve that skills that is very important to our work. Now we move. We have Omar. Okay.
Yes. So another topic that we have every time we make a scouting of a team is to identify the key players, and this is gonna be a question for us. What should we identify individually on the players when scouting a team? So what we need to scout, what we need to identify, it could be team leaders. Sometimes we know those players that we can speak for, asking for some help to have that order in the game, or those players that are basically the key players because they make more points because they are the more experienced players on the court. players with difficult behavior because we can be one step forward to know how to deal with those situations. We always have those players that are difficult to speak with them, or to have some conversation or to cooperate with us. But it doesn't mean they need to always. But those players, we need to be ready just to be in a step forward always. Also, the game management and trying to find some fake, some cross talking, and some violence. But the most important point right here is what we should not prejudge. We only prepare ourselves to be ready for the situations, and this is something important. Just prepare, bring that information, but doesn't mean that you need to be like the police officer behind them. Just prepare yourself for the future situations. Second,
Now we will watch a video we share on our social media, but we just want to watch this video, and you will have the poll to choose your decision if you think it's a block, if you think it's a charge, if you think it's a fake, or if you think it's a no call. So we will put the video once, it has a replay, and then you give your answer. Now you can start giving your answer. If you think it's a block, if you think it's a charge, fake, or if you think it's a no call. Let's just move in. We have 33. Remember, at the game we watch the play once, so you need to be ready to take the quick decision. So we have 42% fake, we have some charge, and some no call. And I will share another slide or another pic before watching the video again, just to watch this point.
Wait.
This point right now, we will watch the video again and now focus on this point. We have this and then we have this. So remember, you answered already, you cannot change your answer. But now watch this point on the bottom of the plate. Ooh.
There.
And this is very related to that scouting. And when we try to identify behavior or players that have some situations, if that player fakes, if that player spread the leg during the shot. And when we come to the game, we sometimes base our decision on what Omar says, that prejudgment, instead of watching the whole play. So we repeat it again just to stop. I will share right here. Is sometimes when the player goes to the floor, we think it's a fake because he's going to the floor. But in this special case, this is not live. But in this special case, we could identify that the player, the offensive player, just steps on the defensive foot. Not intentionally, but here, we have something right. And he stepped twice on the defensive foot. So if the defensive is moving laterally to defend, and he had the other player's foot on his foot, maybe, or it's a big way to lose the balance and then start getting or start falling into the floor. Maybe not because he want to fake the referee, but because he lost his balance of the situation. So, Robert, what comment do you have on this specific situation?
Yes, we have here great video clip, because maybe sometimes we think that we are refereeing only from the hip to the head, and we have to referee from the foot to the head. For me, it's a no call. It's a great no call for the referees. When you have a player in movement, you put your foot on his foot, he's gonna fall down on the floor. With touch or not touch on his body, because you are putting him off balance when he is in movement. But like I said in the previous session, if you try to watch the clip again, we have discovered a bad position on the third referee, because where is he? He's the only one who can watch all the situation between the players, but he's so far away from the play. He was not prepared for the play. So for me, is a great no call for the three referees. I don't know if the play has surprised them or not, but it is a great no call.
Okay, we switch here. Now, Omar, move it to the next. I will seek in the next slide. Yes, sure.
So the next topic is related to scouting the coaches, and sometimes it's hard to prepare something with the coaches, just being ready. And this time I will ask again the help of Roberto and asking him what can you suggest us to make appropriate scouting of the coaches and how to identify them and react properly to their reactions during the game, how we can prepare for the coaches.
Well, we have to first of all, we have to identify how is the coach, how is his behavior, is he polite or not? He likes to go out from the coaching box or not? Because if we scout the coach, we can then in the game we can manage them on the proper way. One good point that can I mention is we have to maintain our emotional control. We cannot be over emotion, or we cannot be lower in our emotion, in our arousal, because we're gonna if we are low in our arousal, we're gonna be like we are sleepy. Or if we are high on our arousal and trying to manage a coach, we are going to talk louder, or sometimes really bad person with bad communication with them. No, we have to be prepared psychological to manage the coach. And we have maybe we have in one game a team A coach is a really polite. You have to trade him like the same way that you're gonna trade the Team B coach, who is a great. I'm not gonna mention that word, but he is a really high emotion coach. But you have to trade both of them at the same way, at the same time, at the same proper manage. You cannot be fair with one and unfair with the other one.
Sorry, Robert, we are not watching you. And you show.
Let me refresh the cam.
But we listen. We listen to all you said about that question. Though.
You're listening. You're listening.
Yes, yes, we listen everything.
This connection has a COVID.
Yes.
I don't know.
So okay, so moving next.
Let me refresh. I'm going to refresh.
Okay.
While he's making while he's coming back, we will show the session of next Thursday, July 23rd. We'll talk about activate your body before, during, and after the game, from the physical point of view to every type of referee, the referee who is professional, who only referees, or the referee who has to work or has to study or has to go to the college and then have a game at night. So that will be the topic with a guest from Puerto Rico who is Joselo Quiñones, and he is a referee's fitness trainer for his federation. Now, from respect, second question.
Last question is, when we have some coaches with different personalities, one more active than the other, what tools do you use?
Okay, what is the question? When we have a coach with a different personality,
what tool do you use to maintain the correct balance?
Like I said, I have to trade both of them at the same way. I cannot be fair with one coach and unfair with the other coach. What I'm going to permit for Coach A is the same that I'm going to permit to allow on the Coach B. If we have a polite coach on one side, I want to be here. I want to be his. I want to have that coach in the polite way, in the polite mode. I don't want to this coach making the same things that the Coach B are doing. And if I have a Coach B with every time he's protesting or complaining and say something about our officiating, I have to stop him on from the very beginning, because if we allow his complaining, I have to permit the same thing for the other coach, and it's not going to be a great game for us. So the key point is stop him from the very beginning. Stop his complaining from the start of the game. If he's out of the coaching box, hey coach, go back for the line. I'm not saying nothing to you. No, I don't care. But you have to be behind the line. This is my house. You have to stay on your house.
I can hear you, Julio.
Sorry. Now, COVID is attacking everywhere. Okay. With this session, we try to give you all the tools just to prepare. When we talk about professionalism, it's not a license, it's not title, it's not a diploma, it's how you prepare to that game you have. So while you can make any question about the session you have on the chat, if you want to participate, you can click also on the request to speak button, and we let some 5 to 10 minutes just to share if you want to come in and to give any opinion or any question. While we are waiting for you, we will ask Robert if he can share with us on his experience if you think that as we are scouting the teams, if there are teams or coaches that scout the referees that will referee their games. What do you think about that? If that exists, it happens to you or something?
Of course, they scout us. Of course, they scout every referee, but they are not. They I think, from my point of view, because I'm not with them in the hotel or in his house. But every time we have a game, they are scouting us too. I know a coach from one country. When we start the game, this coach, no, he say nothing to us. He's watching the game from the first 5 minutes of the game, on what are going to allow, what are going to permit, what are going to call. Then he make the strategy on the game. I know other coach that he knows that he cannot talk with me because he want to cross the line every time, and he know that with me he cannot cross the line. I know the coach that who like to cross the line, and he's doing his job with out of the box with some referees, and he's not out of the box with some referees. So they make our his scouting. They make his scouting.
Omar, what do you think? You have other coach? First minutes. Hi, Omar. How are you?
Yeah, I'm agreed that sometimes they know, uh, and it is important for them because, of course, uh, as well as they scouting a team or scouting key players. Of course, they scout or they know exactly what could be allowed that day in that game based on the referees that are gonna work. And sometimes it is based on your experience, it is based on your career that sometimes they don't tell you something. But it is important that we know that this is not a fact for us. Of course, they do that, but this is not a fact. And sometimes don't be that referee that always says, "Oh man, I got this team and I got this coach." The coach is gonna be at the level that you allow him to be, and this is something that you can control. So at the time, they do that, but this is something that is not a not a fact for us.
Here we have a question to Robert. How about scouting our partners, our colleagues, before the game? What can you suggest on scouting maybe referees you have not worked with them before, the first time or second time? Robert, do you listen? Are you?
No, I can. Can you repeat again?
A question in which how about scouting our partners, the referees with whom you are refereeing, if there is a first time you have refereed with them?
All right. I cannot say scouting our partner. I can say knowing my partner, because I have to know how he work. I have to know what is his strengths, or when we have debilidades,
Weaknesses.
Businesses.
or weakness. I have to know strengths and weakness from my partner. So I cannot say scouting my partner. I have to say knowing my partner. But it's really important. It's really important to know how he works.
Any other question? If you have, you can write on the chat or ask a request to speak. While you are doing, maybe we can start with some closing comments. We will give 5 minutes. Any closing comments from Robert?
Yes. I don't know how many of you guys are referee, but it's being referee is a great has been my life for 27 years, because I start refereeing 5 and 6 years old kids, and from the very beginning I like this profession. I love this profession. So no matter what, you are doing a game for $5, $10, $25, $30, $100 game. Do the best. Be the best on the court, out of the court, before and after the game. And I said before because we have to make our pregame properly, and it's include the scouting. And after the game, we have to be our autocritical. Our best critic is our critics, not the other critic. So trying to be the best all the time.
Omar?
He's out.
He's out. Aline? Okay, he's coming back. I think he's here. From my point of view, I agree totally. We talked a lot about professionalism and constancy during our first 2 sessions, and this is why we are trying to contribute a little from our side with your knowledge, with your preparation, but the last decision is on you. It's on you if you want to take it and apply it, or what do you want to, or what service are you ready to give to the game. So that's why you're here. Thank you again, Omar. Now, there.
Hello, I'm here again. Yes, I'm agree with Roberto and Julio. Just be professional. Just be on the level that you want to be. It doesn't mean just because you're not in that level, you're not so professional. Just be professional from the beginning and love what you do, so you can be improving day by day.
Okay. We got reading. So thank you very much. See you next Thursday, same time, to talk about physical preparation before, during, and after the game. So thank you. See you.